Hello everyone, I am Trupti Pandya and today I will be teaching you Element of Account Standard 11 Part 2 Chapter 6 Convention, Assumption, Concept and Principle of Accounting. In previous lecture we already completed up to 9 principle. Today let us start 10th principle and it is cost concept. According to the cost concept, transactions will be recorded in the books of account at their monetary cost of acquisition. In other words, if there is cost, the transaction will be recorded at a cost at which the transaction has taken place and not any more or less value than that. It means when there is a monetary value is there, this cost only we have to write this transaction as per their cost value. It also implies that if there is no cost, the transaction will not be recorded in the books of account. If monetary value is not there, if there is no cost is there, then these transactions will not be recorded in the books of account. The transactions are recorded based on the amounts actually involved. This is a fundamental concept in accounting in the same sense that it prevents recording the transaction at any arbitrary values. This concept is mainly applied in the transaction of acquisition of assets, wherein the amount to be recorded is objectively arrived at based on the mutually agreed value between two parties. However, sometimes accounting has necessarily to be based on estimates. For example, depreciation to be calculated on asset is usually based on estimates as precise life of any asset cannot be known. The following are some of the illustrations based on this concept. First one, a piece of land is purchased by Aditi from Anil for 5 lakhs. These transactions will be recorded in the books of account at rupees 5 lakh only, being the monetary cost thereof. Even if Aditi feels that this land is worth rupees 10 lakhs, she cannot record this transaction at 10 lakhs in her book, as her cost for land is rupees 5 lakhs. At the same time, even if Anil feels that this piece of land is worth rupees 3 lakhs, he cannot be record this transaction at rupees 3 lakh in his books. When he has actually sold it for rupees 5 lakhs, so when they prepare their account at that time, they have to write only 5 lakh, not a 10 lakh or not a 3 lakh. Second one, no accounting entry is made for free sample received as there is no cost. Free sample is there and so in account its entry is not necessary. Now 11th one, dual aspect concept. Duality principle is a fundamental accounting convention and is the underlying basis for double entry bookkeeping system or accounting system. According to dual aspect concept, every transaction has a twofold effect or has a dual impact on the accounting records. First, from the angle of a benefit received and second from the angle of a benefit given. For example, purchased furniture of rupees 10,000 for cash. In this transaction, furniture of rupees 10,000 is received and cash rupees 10,000 is given or it goes out of the business. If furniture is purchased on credit, furniture comes in and equal amount of a liability is credited to be discharged in future. Thus, every receiver is a giver and every giver is a receiver. In the above example, purchaser of a furniture gets furniture and give cash. On the other hand, seller of a furniture gives furniture and get cash. Thus, for proper recording of transactions, dual aspects are necessary. For recording this twofold effect in the books of account, accounting terminology of debit and credit are used. The structure of accounting is based on this concept of a duality. Accounting equation of or a balance sheet equation is also based on dual aspect concept. Thus, total debit effect and total credit effects of various transactions recorded in the books of accounts and posted in ledger accounts are always equal. Accounting system is designed so as to record both these effects of transactions and hence it is called a double entry system. It should be remembered that every transaction recorded in the account affect at least two items. The economic resources of an entity are known as assets. The claim of various parties against these assets are called capital and liabilities. Capital is the owner's claim against the asset of the business. In case of a proprietary firm, it is known as a proprietor's capital. In case of a partnership firm, it is known as a partner's capital. In case of incorporated entities, capital or owner is equity is also known as a shareholders, equity or shareholders fund. In short, terms like capital, owner's fund, owner's equity, net worth, shareholders fund, equity, proprietor's capital or partner's capital denote the claim of owners against the asset of an enterprise. Liabilities are the claim of creditors. As example, everyone other than the owners against the assets of the business, since all the assets of the business are claimed by the creditors and owners, and these claims cannot exceed the amount of assets. The fundamental accounting equation or the balance sheet equations will be as under: asset is equal to liability plus capital. Alternatively, accounting equation can be stated as A is equal to L plus C, where A is equal to asset, L is equal to liability, and C is equal to capital. Understanding fundamental accounting equations will be the utmost use of understanding the entire process of accounting. This equation is not only helpful in the understanding the dual aspect of any transaction, but it also helps in understanding the account to be debited or credited. For example, when proprietor brings capital of rupees 10,000 by cash in a business name as Radhika Corporation, the business gets cash rupees 10,000 which is debited to cash account, and capital account is credited by rupees 10,000. The balance sheet of firm will appear as under: balance sheet of Radhika Corporation, fixed asset 0, current asset cash 10,000, capital 10,000, liability 0. So total of liability and asset is 10,000. The effect of above stated transaction is that asset versus cash is increase and capital increase. Alternatively, we can say that cash account is debited and capital account is credited. We should remember that debit is the portion of a transaction that account for increase in asset or expense and decrease in liability, capital or income. In above stated transaction, debit is on the account of increase in cash. Similarly, we should remember that credit is that portion of transaction that accounts for decrease in asset or expense and increase in liabilities, capital and income. In above stated transactions, credit is on account of an increase in capital. The dual aspect concept is of utmost importance is mastering the art of accounting. To understand the rule of debit and credit or journal entries easily with this dual aspect concept, one may remember only one thing and the rest would follow the corollary. Remember that increase in asset means a debit or asset plus. Now, as a corollary to this, decrease in asset means credit. Increase in liability means credit. Increase in capital means credit. Decrease in liability means debit. And decrease in capital means debit. So, in the above stated transactions from the viewpoint of a business entity, cash which is an asset increases and hence cash account is debited, and capital increases and hence capital account is credited. Each transaction has a two aspect or effect or dual aspect. This can also be understood by the following example. If business acquires asset, it must result in one of the following: decrease in some other asset. For example, purchased machinery for cash. In this case, asset versus machinery increases and another asset versus decreases. Increase in liability. For example, if asset is acquired on credit, the obligation to pay the amount thereof will result into increase in liability. Increase in capital. For example, if owner has brought personal asset into business, capital increases. The following are some of the illustrations based on this concept. First one, when goods costing rupees 5,000 is sold for rupees 7,000 for cash, the effect of this transactions will be reduction in asset of inventory by rupees 5,000, increase in cash balance by rupees 7,000, and increase in capital by rupees 2,000. being profit on sale of such a goods. Thus, overall net effect or a twofold effect is that capital increased by 2000 and asset increased by 2000, 7000 minus 5000 and 2000. Second one, when goods costing rupees 4000 is purchased on credit, the effect of these transactions will be increase in stock or inventory or asset by rupees 4000 and increase in creditor or liability by rupees 4000. Thus, overall effect or twofold effect is that asset increases by rupees 4000 and liability increases by rupees 4000. Third one, when loan of rupees 10,000 is received from a friend by check, overall effect or twofold effect is that asset bank balance increases by 10,000 and liability loan from friend increases by 10,000. When salary of rupees 8,000 is paid by cash, it being an expense increase the loss or reduces the profit and thus reducing the capital by rupees 8,000. The second effect is it reduces cash by rupees 8,000. Thus the twofold effect is decrease in capital by rupees 8,000 and decrease in asset by rupees 8,000. Now other concept, matching cost with revenue. According to this concept, costs incurred during a particular period should be matched against the revenue of that period of a certain profit or loss. Second, realization or revenue recognition. According to this concept, revenue should be recognized in the period in which it is earned, irrespective of the fact whether cash is received or not during that period. Third, verifiability and objectivity of evidence. According to this concept, there should be objective evidence for transactions records in account which are capable for verification. Illustrations. State the name of the accounting principle, concept and convention which is followed in the practice or statement given below. Market value of fixed asset as on 31st March 2016 is rupees 5 lakh and depreciated value is rupees 4 lakh. On this date, in this case, fixed asset will be shown in the balance sheet at rupees 4 lakhs on 31st March 2016 and not at rupees 5 lakhs. Second, usually provision for discount reserve on creditors is not made. Third, provision is made for doubtful debtors. Fourth one, closing stock is valued at the cost price or market price, whichever is less. Fifth one, revenue from sales is recorded in book of account even if goods are sold on credit and the amount is not yet received in cash. Sixth one, fixed asset of a business are shown in balance sheet at the depreciated value and not at the realizable value. Seventh one, partnership firm gives interest on a partner's capital and charges interest on partner's drawing if it is so agreed. Eighth one, accounts of a business are prepared for a specific period. Ninth one, no accounting entry is passed in the books of accounts for resignations of an efficient plant manager of a firm even if this event will adversely affect the production of the firm. 10th one, in addition to book value of investment in listed shares, the market value thereof is also shown in additional information in financial statements. 11th one, entire expense of a ball pen refill purchased for rupees 5 on 25 March 2016 is debited to stationery expense on date of purchase itself, even if only about half of this refill is used by 31st March 2016. 12th one, as far as possible, same method of providing depreciation should be followed year after year. 13. Mangal Corporation purchased a car of 4 rupees 5 lakh and this was a last piece available with a seller, and now there are buyers ready to pay even 7 lakh for this car. Hence, owner of Mangal Corporation wants to record this transaction of purchase of car rupees 7 lakh even though the car is actually purchased for rupees 5 lakh. However, the accountant of the firm has argued but that based on generally accepted the accounting principle, this transaction has to be recorded only at 5 lakh and it cannot be recorded at rupees 7 lakhs. 14th one, ABC Corporation received free sample of goods worth rupees 5,000 from the supplier, but ABC Corporation did not record this transaction in its books of account even though it received the goods. Now, Going concern concept, the fact that fixed assets are shown at that depreciated value and not at that realizable value. The balance is based on the going concern concept. The business is not to continue for a long period. We should show the fixed assets a realizable value for 5 lakh. However, in the absence of any contrary information, according to going concern concept, it is always assumed that the entity will continue for a very long time. Second answer, prudence or conservatism concept. According to the prudence or conservatism, revenue or gain should be recognized only when they are reasonably certain. Discount to be earned from creditors is a probable and not sure, and hence anticipated gain useless. Reasonability certain is ignored. Hence, no provision is made for discount reserve creditors. Prudence or conservatism concept. Provision is made for doubtful debtor as it is an anticipated loss, and according to this principle, all anticipated losses are provided for. Prudence or conservatism concept. It is based on the prudence or conservatism concept that take into account anticipated loss but ignores and anticipated gain. Accrual or conservatism concept. Based on accrual concept, when sales is made on credit, the third party legally becomes liable to pay the amount of goods, and hence revenue should be recognized soon after the sale is made or when ownership in goods are passed to the buyer thereof. Sixth one, going concern concept. Fixed asset of a business are shown in balance sheet at the depreciated value and not at the realizable value, as a fixed asset are meant for use in the business and business is to continue for a very long time or for a indefinite period. Seventh one, accounting entity concept. As a partnership firm and partners are treated as a two separate entity. Partnership firm can allow interest on partners' capital and can charge interest on partners' drawing if it is so agreed. Eighth one, periodicity concept. Since life of a business is indefinite, accounts of a business are prepared for a specific period to ascertain performance or position of a business at a regular interval. Ninth one, money measurement concept. As the event of resignation of an efficient plant manager cannot be measured in terms of money, it cannot be recorded in the book of account. Only those events or transactions which can be measured in terms of money are recorded in the books of account. Tenth one, full disclosure concept. Since all material information should be disclosed in the financial statement, in addition to book value of an investment in a listed shares, the market value thereof is also shown as additional information in financial statements. 11th one, materiality concept. Based on materiality concept, all immaterial items will be dealt with in account in the most expedient manner. The cost of a pen refill being immaterial, its cost can be charged as an expense either when the same is purchased or when issued for use. So this way our 11th concept is over. Twelfth one, consistency concept. Consistency principle expects that whatever accounting method or policy is followed should be consistently followed. Hence, based on this principle, as far as possible, same method of providing depreciation should be followed year after year. 13 one, cost concept. According to this concept, the transactions have to be recorded based on the underlying cost thereof. Hence, even though the owner considered an asset purchased as worth more or less than the actual purchase price, the transactions will be recorded at cost thereof and no other value. 14th one, cost concept. As there is no cost, the transactions will not be recorded in the absence of any cost. Fill in the blanks choosing the most appropriate options from the given option. Desk concept suggests that the method of valuation of a stock should not be changed a year after year. Here some questions is given, and afterward we have to write the answer. First one is the consistency. Second is that fixed assets are depreciated based on the principle of here materiality, cost, consistency or dual aspect. First consistency answer is right. Fixed assets are depreciated based on the principle of materiality, money measurement, accounting entity or going concern. So here answer is D, going concern is the correct answer. Now third one, based on concept of provision for outstanding salary for the month of March is made in the month of March while finalizing the account even though the salary for that month is actually paid in April next. Accrual, cost, money measurement or dual aspect. So correct answer is accrual. Now fourth one, based on concept amount paid for personal traveling expense of a proprietor from the firm is debited by firm to the drawing account of a proprietor. Materiality, accounting entity, periodicity or dual aspect. Here in a fourth one answer is accounting entity. Now fifth one, based on desk concept no accounting entry is made in the books of account for advantage of having the team of sincere, honest, hardworking and efficient employee with the firm. Here answer of fifth money measurement. Now sixth one, based on desk concept profit and loss account and balance sheet are prepared at the end of the each accounting period. Materiality, cost, money measurement or a periodicity. So here answer is a periodicity. Now seventh one, whenever there is a change in method of providing depreciation, the impact of such a change in the profit or loss and in the value of assets should be disclosed in a financial statement on the based on desk concept. Full disclosure, cost, going concern or dual aspect. So here answer is seventh one's answer is full disclosure is the answer. Instead of preparing separate account for items like pen, eraser, rough writing pads, pencil and other stationery items, they are all grouped under one stationery expense account based on desk concept. It is a dual aspect, materiality, consistency or accounting entity. Here in eighth one there is a answer is materiality. Now ninth one, based on desk concept provision may be made for contingent liability in the books of account but not for contingent assets. Materiality, cost, dual aspect or prudence for conservatism. So answer prudence or conservatism. Now 10th one, Krupa Corporation entered into agreement on 1/6/2016 for purchase of factory building for 5 crore from Anil Enterprise. Actual payment 5 crore was made and deed for these transactions was executed on 15/6/2016 when the market value of this factory building had gone up 6 crore. Even though the value of has increased 6 crore, this transaction will have to be recorded only 5 crores in the books of account based on desk concept. Materiality, consistency, dual aspect or cost. So here cost is the correct answer. 11th one, fundamental accounting equation or a balance sheet equation, asset is equal to liability plus capital is based on desk concept. Materiality, cost, dual aspect or the consistency. So here dual aspect. The reason for valuing work in a process on the basis of this, the cost incurred thereon is desk concept. Materiality, going concern, full disclosure or accounting entity. Here going concern is the correct answer. So this way our chapter number 6 is over. Thank you very much.